Oh hey, it's after hours at Cinemassacre Video, and I'm putting in a little overtime to talk more movies. But first, a word from our sponsor.
It came from the internet. Sleek slabs of magic alloys ritualistically bound together with synthetic fibers by the necromancers at Ridge Wallets. Pack up to 12 cards in a variety of styles and colors, like the sinister burnt titanium. It's to die for. Just ask these other 30,000 lost souls. It even has a lifetime warranty and a 45-day test drive. They have other products too, like the Hook multi-tool for opening everything important: doors, brews, and coffins. Crawl on over to ridge.com/Cinemassacre and use code Cinemassacre for 10% off your order.
Another film that's never gotten a sufficient mention on Cinemassacre is The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. It's one of the greatest movies ever. It's directed by John Huston, starring Humphrey Bogart, the same combo that made The Maltese Falcon. And this is a case of that exceptional cinematic lightning striking twice. So it's a treasure hunt movie. It has elements of film noir and westerns. And simply put, it's a story about greed, how the prospect of getting rich can corrupt and turn people against each other.
Gold don't carry any curse with it. It all depends on whether or not the guy who finds it is the right guy.
Bogart plays Fred Dobbs, a poor, down-and-out drifter who's looking for steady work. He meets an employer who hires him on the spot for hard labor setting up oil rigs, but the guy turns out to be a scumbag who doesn't pay his employees. So Dobbs and his co-worker, Bob Curtin, played by Tim Holt, corner the boss in a bar and demand the money they're owed. The boss throws a punch at Dobbs, and next thing they're all duking it out. There's a great moment here when he takes the money, he counts it, and then throws the rest onto the half-unconscious boss. That shows us that he's trying to be fair. He's a flawed but reasonable guy trying to make a living in a cutthroat world, and that he's not greedy for more money, he just wants what he's owed. But he's about to be put to the ultimate test, because Dobbs and Curtin meet the rapid-talking old man Howard. What a great character this guy is.
Nuts, am I?
He's played by the director's father, Walter Huston. Howard is a former gold hunter. He's had the experience and the wisdom. He knows where to find the gold, he knows the tools, he knows the risks, where you might get caught by the authorities, where you might get robbed by bandits. He has the whole thing figured out, but he warns them the biggest risk is the greed. You go up there on the mountain and you find some gold, then you want a little more, and then a little more, and a little more, until the gold poisons your mind and you're no longer the same person.
But when the piles of gold begin to grow, that's when the trouble starts.
But Dobbs insists that he won't get corrupted. So the three of them team up, they form a business agreement, they invest in their gear, they pack up, and they go out to find the gold, and this is where the movie really begins. All the mountain and desert photography is gorgeous. This type of scenery often looks best in color, but black and white gives it a special tone. As always, I love how the white and black clash together and the grays give off a silvery glow. It lends more to the cynical noir look with a sense of doom in the air. It was all shot on real locations. Very little of this movie, I think, was filmed in a studio, which makes it much more authentic. You can tell they're really out in the middle of nowhere, and you can see the sand sticking to their sweat-dripping faces. The plot takes a 90-degree turn every step of the way. A fourth guy, Cody, shows up and wants a share in the profits, or else he'll alert the authorities. So the others have to make a decision if they're going to kill him or not. And the tension just builds and builds. They also have run-ins with bandits, and every possible thing that could go wrong goes wrong. But the ultimate antagonistic force, the greed aspect which the old man predicted, slowly begins to take shape. Dobbs goes through a drastic change. Even by the end of the movie, his facial hair is grown out. He's got a layer of dirt on his face. He actually looks like a different person. It all starts with paranoia. He keeps thinking the others are trying to stab him in the back, and at one point, Curtin takes out a gun to protect Dobbs from a poisonous lizard, but Dobbs thinks he's trying to rob him. But from there, it just keeps getting darker and darker.
You want to take it all for yourself and cut me out? No, Dobbs.
Even with the lighting, there's a scene at night where Dobbs and Curtin are sitting by the fire, waiting to see who falls asleep first.
You haven't got nerve enough to pull the trigger while I'm looking you straight in the eye.
And the look on Bogart's face, I mean, his eyes, it's like the devil. The dialogue is top-notch. It has all those tough guy threats. For example, when Cody uses some of their water to make coffee, Dobbs says, "The next guy who takes some of my water, I'm going to let it out of him through bullet holes." And that's just a small taste. The whole film is full of these colorful, descriptive comebacks. Supposedly there was a head decapitation which was cut from the finished film, even though it's still implied. For 1948, it's hard to imagine a dummy head rolling away, but I would love to see it as it's probably the first or one of the first severed heads in movies. I've never seen this deleted shot come up anywhere, but if it exists, finding it would be like another Holy Grail situation. The ending is not your typical Hollywood ending. I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't seen it. I really want to encourage people to see this movie and experience it for themselves, but I'm sure you can already tell it doesn't go like they find the gold and everybody goes home happy. No. I don't want to tell you exactly how it goes down, but it's well played. It has the right amount of irony, cynicism, and with a tiny light at the end of the tunnel. Even though it's hard to imagine the movie ending any other way, the head of Warner Brothers, Jack Warner, hated it and was very vocal and unhappy about many aspects of the film. And sure enough, I guess he was validated because the initial box office results were underwhelming, though it became a critical success. It made it onto many all-time greatest film lists, deservingly so, and it's inspired many filmmakers like Steven Spielberg. You can tell the character Dobbs is one of the many influences for Indiana Jones. A soft influence, but still. Stanley Kubrick said it was his fourth favorite film, Sam Raimi said it was his number one, and Vince Gilligan said it was one of his favorites, which makes perfect sense because it reminds me a lot of Breaking Bad, with characters who work together only to double-cross each other, for the tables to turn, and for the plot to twist at every corner. If you enjoy modern crime thrillers, there's nothing dated about Treasure of the Sierra Madre. It's a classic that stands up with the best.